Hello students, let us discuss the answer scheme of the first round test question paper. In the instruction it is mentioned, the time is to be spent in reading the question paper. This is very important. So this 15 minutes time you have to spend only for reading the question paper. So section 1, it is a 40 marks. Question number 1. Choose the correct answer from each of the 4 options given below and write the correct answer with the alphabet. Remember it is alphabet, and also you have to write the correct answer. Both you have to mention. Chromatin material is composed of, out of the 4 options, the correct option is DNA and histone. So what is the percentage of DNA? DNA is of 40% and histone is of 60%. Second bit, the number of histone proteins in a nucleosome. See, this is the diagram of the nucleosome. So this complex, which consists of the histone octamer, that is surrounded by the DNA. These are the histone proteins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are 8 histone proteins. So the option will be 8. Third bit, the physical expression of a character is called phenotype. Remember, the physical expression of a character that is controlled by the genes, but the outward expression, what is visible or what is observable, it is known as phenotype. Fourth bit, blood disease caused by a gene mutation. Answer is sickle cell anemia. Fifth, the process of oozing out of the fluids from a plant part is called exudation. Because it is not asked water droplets or water vapors, so it is mentioned about the fluid. The fluid, so the answer is exudation. The apparatus used to measure the rate of transpiration, it is photometer. The upper layer of mesophyll in a leaf consists of elongated tissue. So this is the section of a leaf. What kind of leaf it is? This is a dicot leaf. And find out what are the parts. This is the upper epidermis. Below the upper epidermis, we do find these are the elongated cells, and these elongated cells are the palisade mesophyll cells or palisade parenchyma. So according to the question, this elongated tissue that consists of the palisade cells. So out of the 4 options, palisade cells is the answer. Granum is a pile of many days. This is the diagram of the granum, and it is made up of pile of thylakoids. So out of the 4 options, fret, stroma, stoma, thylakoids. So answer will be thylakoids. Ninth bit, development of fruits without fertilization is called parthenocarpy. In case of animals, it is called as parthenogenesis. In case of plants, it is called parthenocarpy. 10th bit, industrial melanism was highlighted by identify the organism. It is pepper moth. The biological name is Bichon betullaria. Question number 2, give appropriate terms. The phenomenon of loss of water through a cord stem or injured part of the plant. When it is mentioned about the cord stem or injured part, so the answer is bleeding. Second bit, the scientific name of garden pea, which Mendel used for his experiment. Scientific name is Pisum sativum. So it is to be written in italics. So that's why I have mentioned here in italics. But how you have to write? You have to write the genus or the generic name, that is to be underlined separately, and the specific name or the species is to be underlined separately. And here only P, that is the first alphabet, will be capital letter, rest all the alphabets will be of small letter. The longest phase of cell cycle in interphase. What is the interphase? Interphase consists of G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. So which is the longest? In the diagram it is clearly visible. G1 phase, or that is known as fast growth phase, is the longest phase. So answer is G1 phase or fast growth phase. Process responsible for variation. The appropriate answer is crossing over. You can write genetic recombination also, and these two are parts of meiosis. So the most appropriate answer you have to choose either the first or the second. The process of nuclear division. Nucleus is known as carrion and division is known as kinesis. So division of the nucleus is known as karyokinesis. Question number 3. Arrange and rewrite the terms in each group in the correct order so as to be in a logical sequence beginning with the term that is underlined. It is mentioned arrange and rewrite. You have to rewrite the terms. Either you can write the terms by putting comma or else you can write the terms by putting arrow marks. So here the question is cortical cells, root hair, soil water, endodermis and xylem. So soil water, the word is underlined, so that should be the first letter in the logical sequence. So this is the section of the root system or the root. So what can we find here? The water, soil water. So it enters into the root hair. From here it enters into the cortex. So mean the cortical cells. It passes the cortical cells. Then it enters into the innermost layer of cortex, that is known as endodermis. After the endodermis, you can find the layer that is called as pericycle. So this is pericycle. This layer, the cells are consisting of pericycle. Then this is the xylem. After pericycle, the word xylem comes. So find the answer: soil water, root hair, cortical cells, endodermis and xylem. Next question is karyokinesis, S phase, cytokinesis, G1 phase, G2 phase. So first comes the G1 phase because this word is underlined. So this is G1 phase. After G1 phase, this is S phase. After S phase, it is G2 phase. After G2 phase, it is karyokinesis. After karyokinesis, this is cytokinesis. Find the answer. So you have to remember, you have to picturize the question so that you will get the answer easily. Next question is Australopithecus, Cro-Magnon, then Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Homo sapiens. Australopithecus word is underlined. Find this is the sequence of the ancestors that begins from Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon and modern man. Here the logical sequence begins with Australopithecus, but we don't find the word Homo habilis. So we have to arrange all these ancestors accordingly. This is the answer: Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon man, Homo sapiens. Next, water molecules: oxygen, grana, hydrogen and hydroxyl ions, photons. So the word begins with photons because it is underlined. So photons means the light energy which falls on the grana. Grana is the part of the chloroplast, which initiates the splitting of the water molecules. So production of hydrogen and hydroxyl ions and oxygen is liberated. All these reactions occur in the light reactions of photosynthesis. Photolysis: glucose, polymerization, phosphorylation, photon. So we have to begin the word photon. So photon, then photolysis means breakdown of water, then phosphorylation, production of ATP from ADP, which occurs in the light reaction of photosynthesis. Then glucose, that means production of glucose occurs in the dark reaction of photosynthesis. Then glucose molecules form the starch by the process known as polymerization. Study the relationship between the first pair and complete and rewrite the second pair. So read the question properly. It is written rewrite. What is to be written? The second pair is to be written. If you write only answer, it will not be considered as the correct answer. For that you will lose mark. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. So cytosine pairs with guanine. So you have to write this pair. Cat 38 chromosomes, man 46 chromosomes. If you write only 46, it is wrong because here it is mentioned 38 chromosomes. So here also you have to mention 46 chromosomes. Don't leave the word chromosome. Stomata, lower surface, hydatodes, dash. So stomata are located in the lower surface of the leaf, whereas hydrathodes are located in the leaf margins. This is the structure of the leaf. So these are the margins which contains, these are the structures which are known as hydrathodes. We can find the oozing of the water droplets. Cactus spines, nerium dash. This is the lower epidermis, and find out the lower epidermis is pushed inside and find out where is the guard cell located. The guard cell is sunken, that means the stomata which is surrounded by the guard cells, these are found to be sunken. So this is one of the adaptations in case of nerium to reduce the rate of transpiration. So the answer is here sunken stomata. You cannot write the term shrunken. If you write the term shrunken, then it is wrong. You have to write sunken stomata, or else you can write narrow lips. If the lips are narrow in case of nerium, so it reduces the surface area, so the rate of transpiration is also reduced. This is also one of the adaptations in nerium. Domestic activity, sewage, industrial, effluent or sludge. Because sewage which consists of the liquid waste, so from the industries the liquid waste is known as effluent, or else you can write sludge. Question number 5. Match the items of column A with those in column B and rewrite the correct matching pairs. Rewrite the correct matching pairs with correct alphabets. Both the terms are very important. Look at the question. Beat 1, genetics. Which is the correct answer? You have to write the alphabet also. The correct alphabet is C, and the correct answer is study of laws of inheritance of characters. Autosomes. Which is the alphabet? It matches with alphabet E. Chromosomes other than the pair of sex chromosomes. Third bit, recessive genes, alphabet D. Correct answer is a gene that can express only when in a similar pair. Fourth bit, allele, alphabet is B. The answer is the alternative forms of genes. Fifth bit, homologous chromosomes, alphabet A. Chromosomes similar in size and shape. This is the answer. Remember, if you don't write the alphabets, because it is asked to write the correct alphabet, so directly you are losing marks. If you write all the answers correctly but without alphabet, then it won't be considered. State the exact location of the following. Centrioles in the centrosome. Where are the centrioles located? Centrioles are located in the centrosome. In the centrosome, you have to write the centrosome. Located in the cytoplasm of animal cell near the nucleus. If you write only located in the cytoplasm, that is not the appropriate answer. So you have to write in the centrosome. Pulvinous, at the base of each leaflet of the plant. Look at the diagram. It is mentioned as petiole. What is petiole? Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. So this is the stalk, and that is swollen. At the base it is swollen. So the location is at the base of each leaflet of the plant. Cuticle, on the surface of the epidermis of leaves. In this diagram we can find this is the upper epidermis. So on the surface of epidermis is present the cuticle. D. Chiasma, at the point of attachment of two non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosome. This is the maternal chromosome and this is the paternal chromosome. Maternal and paternal, these two chromatids are sister chromatids. these two chromatids are sister chromatids. But this chromatid of this maternal chromosome and this chromatid of paternal chromosome are considered as non-sister chromatids. And where they meet, this is the meeting point of these two non-sister chromatids, and this is called as chiasma. Chloroplast location. You can write mesophyll cells, you can write guard cells. Mesophyll cells consist of palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. So you can mention palisade mesophyll, you can mention spongy mesophyll, you can mention only mesophyll cells also. Also you can mention in the guard cells. So the guard cells which surround the stoma, they also consist of chloroplasts. Remember, these epidermal cells lack the chloroplast. You don't find any cells, any chloroplast in the epidermal cells. Identify the odd term in the given set and name the category to which the remaining three belongs. So what you have to write? You have to mention the odd term and you have to mention the category. What category? Category of the other three words. So beta, PAN, pan, polythene, glass, paper. PAN stands for peroxyacyl nitrate. Polythene, glass, all these three are non-biodegradable substances. So which is the odd term? Paper is the odd term. You have to mention the answer this way. Wisdom teeth, esophagus, vermiform appendix, ear pinna. Odd term is esophagus. Category, others are vestigial organs of human. There is no need to write others belong to this category. Simply if you write the side heading as category, you can mention the name of the category. Then round seeds, axial flowers, green seeds, tall plant. To get the correct answer, you have to remember this table that is prepared by Mendel. It shows the characters in the garden pea. So here we do find the round seeds, axial flowers, flower position, axial flowers, green seeds, the green seeds, tall plant. So which is the odd term? We can find these three are lying under dominant traits, whereas this is the recessive trait. So the odd term is green seeds and the category is dominant traits of a pea plant, because these three are the dominant traits of the pea plant. Coleus, geranium, pisum, croton. Coleus, geranium and croton are the plants which contain variegated leaves. So the odd term is pisum. This is the name of the pea plant. So plants with variegated leaves. Don't write variegated plants because the plant contains the variegated leaves. Variegated leaves means the leaves generally should be green in color, but in this case the leaves are consisting of varieties of colors, means green and non-green colors. ATP, NADP, IAA, ADP. Odd term is IAA, indole 3 acetic acid. This is a hormone, plant hormone, phytohormone. Category of others, ATP, NADP, IAA, all these are energy sources in photosynthesis reaction. So photosynthesis is the operative term. If you want to mention light reaction, also you have to mention the term photosynthesis. Light reaction, dark reaction, you have to mention these are the phases of photosynthesis. Section 2, question number 1, define exudation. The oozing out of fluid along with dissolved substances in liquid form. So what are the operative words? Fluid, then dissolved substances and liquid form. It carries 1 mark. Give one difference between cobalt chloride paper and goat's bladder. It is asked here to mention one difference, but it consists of 2 marks. So you have to mention a valid point which can get 2 marks, but you have to write only 1 point of difference. So in case of cobalt chloride paper, it is an indicator of moisture required in conducting experiments on transpiration. Goat's bladder, it is a semi-permeable membrane required in conducting experiments on osmosis. See what is tropism. Give one example. The direction of the response is related to the direction from which the stimulus comes. Such a response is known as tropism. This is the definition of tropism. Give one example. So, any one type of example you can give. I have written here hydrotropism, but you have to mention what is that hydrotropism. Movement of plant parts in response to water or moisture. Why do men suffer from hemophilia and color blindness? Under what conditions do women suffer from these disorders? Hemophilia and color blindness are caused due to X chromosome linked inheritance. Men possess only one X chromosome, because in case of men we can find XY chromosome, so it consists of one X chromosome, and if that X chromosome carries the defective trait, they suffer from the disease. The defective trait may be hemophilia or it may be for color blindness. But in case of women, they suffer from these diseases if both of their X chromosomes carry the defective trait. So, in case of women, which consists 2 X chromosome, if both X chromosomes contain the defective trait, then they will be the sufferers. Note down the answers. Study the diagram given below and answer the questions that follow. Identify the diagram. This is the section of the leaf. Is it a dicot leaf or monocot leaf? This is a dicot leaf because it consists of the two kinds of mesophyll cells, the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll, and location of the stomata in the lower epidermis. The question is asked, label parts 3 and 4. Which is 3 and which is 4? 3 number, this is palisade mesophyll cell, and this is 4 number, this is spongy mesophyll cell. So, palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll. Then, what do the two arrows dotted A and solid B indicate in the daytime and night time? We have to mention in the daytime and night time. So, which is the dotted and which is the solid? So, this is the dotted arrow mark and this is the solid arrow mark. So, we can find the inward movement and this is the outward movement. So, what kind of substances? Dotted arrow indicate inward diffusion of carbon dioxide during the daytime, that is required for photosynthesis. Inward diffusion of oxygen in the night time, that is required to carry out respiration. Whereas the solid arrow B, that is shown as outward diffusion of oxygen, it is produced during photosynthesis, and also water vapor, it is released, that is known as transpiration, that occurs during the daytime as stoma opens, and outward diffusion of carbon dioxide in the night time, because in the night time as oxygen is taken in, carbon dioxide is released to exterior. Differentiate between transpiration and evaporation. First point is the definition. Loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. These are the operative terms. In case of evaporation, loss of water from the surface of water bodies. Remember, surface is the operative term in the form of vapor. Vapor is the common term in both the cases, but here surface word is operative. Second point, it is a physiological process and evaporation is a physical process. Physiological process controlled by both internal and external factors, but evaporation is a physical change controlled by the temperature and humidity of the atmosphere. Third point, transpiration is a slow process, whereas evaporation is a fast process. So, if the question carries 1 mark, you have to write one valid point. Always choose the definition at the first point. Question number 2. The diagram given below represents a certain stage of mitosis. Identify the stage of cell division. This is anaphase. Name the parts labeled A and B. What is A and what is B? So, this is A, which consists of the spindle fibers, and B, this is the centromere of the chromosome. What are the unique features observed in this stage? So, 2 points you have to mention, because The question carries 2 marks. Splitting of centromere attaching the 2 chromatids of a chromosome. That means the centromere splits. Separation of 2 sister chromatids of each chromosome which moves towards the opposite poles due to the shortening or contraction of the spindle fibers. How the 2 sister chromatids separate, which occurs due to splitting of the centromere. So here you have to mention they are moving toward the opposite poles. If you write only they are moving toward the pole, that is wrong, because you have to mention they are moving towards the opposite poles. And why it occurs? Due to the shortening or contraction of the spindle fibers. Remember, these 2 points are very important points of anaphase. Write 2 important significance of mitotic cell division. Out of these 5 points, you can choose any 2 points. You can mention about growth or repair or replacement or asexual reproduction or maintaining the same number of chromosomes in daughter cells. But don't forget to write the full sentence: what is growth, what is repair, where replacement is required, and in which organisms asexual reproduction is carried out, and the maintenance of the same number of chromosomes in the daughter cells. BT, draw a well-labeled diagram of the stage that comes prior to the stage having 4 chromosomes. Prior means what? Prior means previous. Don't get confused when the diagram is shown of the diagram of anaphase. Which is the previous stage? The prior stage is metaphase. So you have to draw the diagram of the metaphase. Don't forget to write here is metaphase. Then you have to label the parts, because this is the plant cell. The diagram which is given in the question, that is the diagram of the plant cell. So you will not draw any aster, formation of aster, but you have to show the spindle fibers. So label the spindle fibers. Then the duplicated chromosome, which consists of the chromatids, and this is the centromere, and all the chromosomes are to be drawn on the equatorial plate. So this is the equatorial plate. So this question carries 3 marks. For writing metaphase, it carries 1 mark. For drawing the chromosomes, 4 chromosomes, it carries 1 mark, and for labeling it carries 1 mark. In Mendel's experiments, tall pea plants are dominant over dwarf pea plants. Beta, state Mendel's law of dominance. Out of a pair of contrasting characters present together, only one is able to express itself while the other remains suppressed. A pair of contrasting characters, one is able to express itself whereas the other remains suppressed. The one that expresses is the dominant character, and the one unexpressed is the recessive character. So don't write out of 2 contrasting character, don't write out of 2 pairs of contrasting character. These are wrong answers. So you have to mention out of a pair of contrasting characters. And don't leave this sentence here, that is incomplete answer. You have to mention the second sentence also. The one that expresses is the dominant character, and the one unexpressed is the recessive character, because this is the law of dominance. Question number 3b. What is the phenotype and genotype of the F1 generation if a homozygous tall plant is crossed with a homozygous dwarf plant? Let us work out. Homozygous tall plant, capital T, is crossed with homozygous dwarf plant, small t, that is P generation, that is parental generation. So what are the gametes formed? Capital T, and here small t, small t. These are the gametes. How to get the F1 generation? By fusion of the gametes. Capital T, small t, capital T, small t. This is F1 generation. So in the question it is asked, what is the phenotype and genotype? Phenotype and genotype. So phenotype we have to find out capital T, small t. So what is the phenotype? It is tall plant. And what is the genotype? Capital T, small t is the genotype. But you have to write the answer like this. After working out this, you have to mention phenotype, tall plants, genotype, you have to mention capital T, small t, that is heterozygous tall. That means for the phenotype you have to mention the tall plants, the observable feature. For the genotype you have to mention the symbols capital T, small t. Question C. Draw a Punnett square to show the gametes and offspring when both the parents are heterozygous for tallness. How to draw the Punnett square? When both the parents are heterozygous for tallness. Heterozygous tall, this is one parent crossed with another parent that is also heterozygous tall. P generation. What are the gametes formed? Capital T, small t, capital T, small t. These are the gametes. Then we have to get the Punnett square. So write down these two gametes on one side, capital T, small t, and these two gametes on the other side, capital T, small t. Find out the offsprings. These two gametes fuse to form capital T, small t. These two gametes fuse to form capital T, small t. These two gametes fuse to form small t, small t. So what is asked in the question? To show the gametes and offspring. You have to mention the gametes and offspring when both the parents are heterozygous for tallness. So here you have to mention the parents. So it is mentioned P generation. So the parents tall, and here also it is tall. So you have to mention the gametes. Already you have written the gametes. So gametes, mention capital T, small t. And offspring, you have to mention offspring, capital T, homozygous tall, capital T, small t, heterozygous tall, small t, homozygous dwarf. So this is the correct way of presentation of the answer. What is the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio of the above cross in B? So let us go back to the question number B. Here we have to mention, we have to find the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio in question number B. So in question number B, here we have find here the F1 generation. In the F1 generation, we do find all the plants are tall, all the tall plants. We don't find any dwarf plants. So the expression is only one type of plant. So it will be 1:0. So what do you get here? Capital T, small t, and all the plants are tall. So the phenotypic ratio is 1. Genotypic ratio is also 1. Because the phenotypic ratio, as we get the phenotype, all the plants are tall, and genotypic ratio, we are getting this is the genotype. So this is 1 and this is also 1. So it carries 2 mark. I hope it is clear, because there is no existence of 1:0. There is no existence. That's why the ratio is 1. Question number E. Draw a well-labeled diagram of a diploid chromosome. Diploid chromosome means it is a duplicated chromosome. So what you have to show? You have to show the 2 chromatids. These are the 2 chromatids, and this is the centromere and the chromonemata. The DNA which is present in the chromosome is known as chromonemata. This is the outer covering which is known as pellicle. It is known as pellicle. Label it as matrix. So this is the diagram of a diploid chromosome. Question number 4. Define acid rain. The rainwater which contains dissolved carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen fall on earth as rain. Means the rainwater contains sulfuric acid and nitric acid. Give 2 examples of vestigial organs in humans. So ear pinna, vermiform appendix. This is ear pinna and this is vermiform appendix. Which part it is? This is the colon. So at the beginning of the cecum we can find the vermiform appendix. This is the part of the large intestine, cecum, colon, rectum. So vermiform appendix and ear pinna are vestigial organs. Briefly explain Lamarck's theory of use and disuse of organs. It carries 2 marks. So what is the law? It states that parts of body used extensively become larger and stronger, while those are not used, these are deteriorate. It carries 2 marks. Mention any 2 measures to minimize noise pollution. So you have to mention 2 measures, means 2 points. So 1 point, prohibiting blowing of horns. 2nd point, not to burn firecrackers. You can write any other points, those are valid. The diagram given below shows a type of tropism. Answer the questions that follows. Name and define the type of tropism. What type of tropism? It is phototropism. Define. What is the definition of phototropism? Movement of plant parts towards light is known as phototropism. Second question, name the hormone which is responsible in bringing the above tropism. The answer is auxins, the growth regulator, because auxin help in bending the plant parts. Third, identify the stimulus and direction of response in the above diagram given. So which is the stimulus? Light is the stimulus, and direction of response, because here the shoot system is bending towards the light. So the shoot system bends towards light. This is the response. Find out, this is the arrow mark here. This is a closed room you can find. So it doesn't receive any light, but here it is open and this is the arrow mark. And we can find the movement of the shoot system towards the light source.